Ulonga tabati yada to ye ko madaifa. Ino to ye ko je love baby pa. Oba tala, oba takutakun. Zongo eshu, ogun oya osun. Kini sheshe, tan she nile yo. O jelo jara.
Lafayette, peace and blessings, fam. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisha Bami. What's good with y'all, family? Shout out to the tribe who came through last night, man, with Baba Kepra Patah, who was chopping it up last night about the galactic awareness and cosmic consciousness, man. It was a powerful interview. Definitely a lot of shout outs and love and support. Everybody that came through, man, I appreciate the love and support. Me and Baba talked earlier today, man. In fact, we're working on that next one for y'all who caught the live stream last night, the one we was talking about at the end. So we're trying to lock in a date for that one. But we're going to get that one cracking in the very near future. But with that, we had to make a couple of pivots. I had to reschedule because initially last night, I think when we was on the live, I was chopping it up with y'all about the Lionsgate show with Wunam, but Wunam had some other scheduling that she had to take care of business-wise. So we're going to build on that one as well. I believe we're aiming for Monday to pick up with that one before the portal actually closes with Wunam. So I think that one should have been up on the channel as far as in the upcoming live streams. But with that, I've been talking to y'all about this one for a minute, man. I've been dropping little tidbits and little hints about sharing this one as far as the watch party. But very powerful interview. I had to take some time today, man, to edit this one up to get it, to the point where it was shareable. And so y'all bear with me. This is my first time doing like a watch party as far as on YouTube and the live stream. So with that, I kind of was running behind a little bit, just tweaking the screens to make sure that I can get everything to come up and play with the audio sounding right. So once I get that going, if y'all could send me some messages or comments in the chat just to make sure that everything is playing properly. But with that, man, very powerful interview. It's kind of surreal considering how things have changed in the matter about maybe 6 years, 7 years, I think, because initially, I think the very first time I ever saw Professor Kaba was in South Carolina. I want to say that was like maybe 2015 or 16 was the very first time I ever seen him in a live presentation. And at the time, I was just there as a spectator, just watching greatness, man. And I did get the opportunity to talk to him, and he was just as humble then, as he is now, as far as like the love, the warm, welcoming spirit, that he personifies. He was all that then, and he still is now. So very powerful experience to have that one. And then the one that I've been talking to y'all about, that was in Miami, I want to say 2019, because that one came about. I had wrote my children's book for those of you who have been on the channel, who've been following the tribe for a minute. Y'all would probably know about the book Starseeds, The Children of the Ancients. Matter of fact, I think I got a copy here somewhere, yeah. So this is it right here, man. So this was the book that interview centered around. And so Professor Kaba inspired the book, based off of his knowledge and his in-depth, research and historical references that he was able to convey throughout a presentation that he did in London. And I'm not sure what year that presentation was recorded or when he actually did that one, but it was very powerful. And what it did, it sent me down that rabbit hole, kind of like Neo, chasing that rabbit, in the Matrix, when you seen in the very beginning when the lady had the little tattoo that appeared on her neck and then he couldn't stop, like chasing to see where that hole was going to lead him to. So that's kind of what studying and researching the Dogon tribe and the Sirius star system did for me, so much so that I feel like it was a divine download that a children's book came out of it. So it's definitely, something that was a very, very powerful exchange. And so it brings everything full circle, considering how that was my start, with interviewing somebody who had already achieved, the worldwide notoriety that he has as far as people who are in the education space. So he's definitely a Hall of Fame educator. In my book, one of my favorite teachers, if not the favorite, as far as that I've been able to actually work with. But with that, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead, man, and bring this thing to the forefront. And like I said, y'all could send the comments and, everything else as we check it out. And if there's anything, anybody want to share, chop it up with, I'm definitely be around afterwards for some Q&A. But also I got, I queued up some footage too. Y'all let me know if y'all want to check it out with some real live footage that I caught in regards to a craft that I caught coming into the atmosphere. This was in I got to look back at, I think it was 2018. And I was driving down the highway in the middle of the night, like maybe 4 or 5 a.m. And I caught a craft coming into, the atmosphere. It just out of thin air just appeared. So, if y'all want to check that out, man, drop craft in the chat, you know what I'm saying? And I definitely could share that at the end, you know, and get y'all perspective on it, you know, what you think. Because I know I'm not the only person who have experienced any type of visuals or, you know, having any type of encounters with extraterrestrial crafts or extraterrestrial, you know, visitation. So I know I'm not the only one on this channel for sure, because I know a lot of y'all have shared stories with y'all. So with that, you know, I see y'all putting them crafts in there. I tell you what, y'all want to see a little bit before we go into the interview, or y'all want to wait till after when we do the Q&A? Y'all let me know which one y'all want to do, because either way, we're going to get it popping tonight, because with this Lionsgate being open, and shout out again to Baba Patah, man, because he burned it down just like I knew he would, but it was a very powerful conversation. I got to kind of look at some of it today just to kind of get to look at it again, man, because, you know, when you're in the midst of the interviews and this energy exchange, it's not easily, you know, comprehensible as if it would be if you were actually sitting down and watching it. So that's one thing I appreciate, is being able to get back or go back and watch, you know, some of the interviews, because I'm learning just like y'all, you know what I'm saying? We all learning together, you know, each one teach one. United we stand, divided we fall. So it's like, it's a very powerful experience for me, and it's humbling. So with that, you know what I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. I see y'all talking about this craft, so yeah, I'm just gonna show. I tell you what, I'm gonna show y'all a teaser of the craft, and then and then we'll get into it, because that way, you know, say y'all stick around and we chop it up at the end. But I definitely I'll share just a little snippet for y'all real quick. Hold on one second. I'm gonna cue this thing up. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Try. I turned the volume off because I was talking some shit in the background, so I don't want to put all that on on this, but I'm gonna share it with y'all real quick. So here we go. Let me see. All right, I'm gonna move myself, and then so this is when I got pictures too. So what happened is I was driving down the highway, and at the time I was driving trucks, and I'm talking about, it had to be, like I said, I want to say between 4 and 5 a.m. I could look it up when I, you know, look at the archive of the video from my phone, but I remember just driving. It's pitch black. I'm on the highway by myself at the time. There's a car or two coming here and there, you know what I mean, like sporadically in between, you know, different types of cars long distances away from each other because it was so late. And so I just recall seeing like a big bright just glare come out of nowhere. And so when that big bright ball came out of nowhere, I was like, yo, so I pulled over. And so you'll be able to see, I'm gonna create another video for this. It's probably gonna be a Patreon video exclusive, because I really want to share a lot of other things as well with that. So I'll share that and drop the links for that in the channel post, as well as, you know, I'll chop it up and talk to y'all about it on another live stream or another call as well. But with that, I got the pictures to go with it. So what happened is the light of the ball of light just kind of came out of nowhere, pitch black. And so when it came, I'm like, oh, so I stopped. I took my phone out. I took a picture of it just to see, like, yo, this is nuts. So then once I was able to actually be at a complete stop and then like roll the window down and all that, that's when I started recording this video. And so you'll see in the very front, if y'all see, um, there's two different balls. You see the very bright one, the very light bright one to the right. That's the one that came into the atmosphere. So to me, it looked as if it was like a craft, almost carrying a craft, or I should say maybe a shell that was like carrying a craft. Kind of like when the space shuttles take off at NASA, they drop their rockets after, you know, they hit a certain altitude, or, you know, something like that. So I feel like maybe this might have been what this was when this came into the atmosphere. Y'all let me know what y'all think, but I'll share the first, you know, few seconds of it, and then we can get into the rest of it after the watch party. But so the very bright one to the right, that's the one that I first saw that came into the atmosphere. After that happened, I stopped, I pulled over, and then you'll see to the left, that's the actual craft that floated out of the ball of light. And so as it floated out, it just drifts out of that ball of light real slow, like calm and cool, just chilling. And I caught the whole thing. So, and I got a couple more. I got, I think, one or two more that I caught on video. I'll probably share, but I do have pictures of a few more that I was able to catch too. So, and y'all can share y'all, if y'all want to, man, share y'all experiences. If anybody had any other experiences where they seen any crafts, or, you know what I'm saying, pictures of crafts or videos of crafts or what have you. Because, and matter of fact, if you want to share it too, you can send it to me. I'll share it on the channel as well. So with that, I'm going to share this real quick, family, so we can get into the watch party. Okay, so can y'all see how it's just drifting? Like it just came, and then if you see to the right now, that where it was a ball of light, that just kind of like dissipated. It kind of just like literally dematerialized in the sky, right? And then you see the craft kind of just drifting off and floating by itself. So it was crazy, man. Like for real, for real. And I've been sitting on this for some years. I never shared it publicly, but I shared it with people who, you know what I mean, who know a little bit about crafts or who believes in them or what have you. At Durante, if I'm saying your name right, if I'm saying the right family. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And that's why I wanted to share it just to get other people's perspectives, you know what I mean, and see what y'all think about it. But to me, it definitely looked like a crab because, like I said, it started out as just a big old ball of light that just came out of nowhere. I mean, literally, it came out of nowhere into the night sky. And then at the bottom, y'all might be able to see some of the cars passing by, but because it was so late, or I should say early in the morning, it wasn't really nobody out there on the road. And so, and actually, too, now that I think about it, I looked online and I did see some other people who did, post this sighting as well, but they had it from a different angle, a different perspective. I'm not sure like which, angles they had, but there was some other people who did share this publicly online as well, back when it happened. But yeah, so it's definitely it's going down, family. We definitely have some visitors here, I believe. So, and then I do know that there's ways of, certain, I would say, organizations and corporations maybe that can create, different types of things, and they definitely can create a lot of, I feel like a lot of fugazi propaganda. But this one definitely looked real to me because, like I said, it just came out of nowhere, like straight up, just pitch black, big ball of light. Big ball of light appears, small crab just kind of drifts off out of the big ball of light. So it was something to see, man. Definitely something to see. So with that, tribe, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to bring up the watch party, and then get this thing cracking, man. Lionsgate definitely litty. Crylid Crisis definitely litty for sure, for sure. Yes, sir. And Lady Nightwalker said, Lafayette tribe haven't seen Professor Kaba in almost 40 years, but this wow, that's what's up, man. That's dope. Listen, I'm trying to get with him to put together a watch party with him for his documentary, Nagas and Kemet. So I'm trying to lock that in as soon as possible. I know he got a lot going on because we spoke not too long ago. It was a few days ago we spoke, and he's definitely got a lot going on because he's touring. He's got events that he's traveling to do and all that, and then he got some other big projects that I'm not sure that they're speaking about publicly yet. So I don't want to put that out there until I talk to him, and find out where they're at with the promotional statuses. So I don't want to leak some information that might not be ready to come out yet. But I do know he got a lot going on. But we definitely gonna make it happen, in divine time, man. When the divine alignment takes place, we're gonna get that cracking. But that's dope, Lady Nightwalker. I'm gonna definitely run that by him. In fact, I'm gonna screenshot that and share it with him, tell him, because he be talking about his students all the time, like the students that he have spoken, have taught over his year. Matter of fact, in the interview we're about to watch, he talks about his teaching career and how that kind of got him into studying melanin and also the Dogon tribe and the star system of Sirius, because all of that's tied to ancient Kemet and the pyramids. So it's definitely going to be a very powerful, experience, man. So I'm definitely looking forward to it, tribe. So with that, man, y'all share the comments. I'll be right here watching it with y'all, and I'll definitely be communicating with the comments as well. I think it's going to be about a good 45 to 50 minutes, I believe, and then I'll jump back on and do some Q&A with y'all after we check this out. So yeah, let's get it popping, family. Story of Mali. So with that being said, Brother Kaba, introduce. Make sure get this volume right.
Existed, believe it or not, was from Clinton
and Parliament from the
Mothership Connection.
So let me try something real quick.
And I remember
try to log
in
off
Washington,
and then get this
D.C.,
volume
man,
right on this one.
1978.
So like I said, I'll be here in the comments. So if y'all want to chop it up in the comments, I'll be here once I get the volume straight on this, man. And then I'll come back after
George Clinton.
Chop it up for some Q&A.
It was Bootsy. It was the Brides of Time. Even that little man got up on the stage in a diaper. And the opening of George Clinton was the spaceship stage. It was in Robert F. Kennedy Stadium, man, in the spring or the summer of 19.
Longa tabati yada to ye kuma daifa. Ino to ye go je. Love bipa. Oba tala, oba takutakun. Songo eshu. Ogun oya osun.
Okay, now we got it, family. Appreciate y'all being patient with me. So yeah, we're gonna definitely get this thing cracking down. So it seems like the volume's working. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the full screen. But like I said, I'll be here through the comments and chopping it up with y'all, family. So let's get this party started. It sparked something within me to do my own research. I know I went out and bought the Sirius mystery book, and that really opened my eyes up to a whole nother level of how deep the story was, but how much proof and how much actual information that went into writing that book that tied into what you were teaching in that lecture. Main focal aspects of the Dogon tribe that you feel like people, especially of melanated descent, should know about in terms of our history and the history behind that story.
Well, first, brother, I congratulate you on your book, Star Seeds.
Appreciate
It's a phenomenal piece of work, brother.
Appreciate it.
And like we were talking about the vocabulary and the way in which the book is structured, this is really a great book to bring into the classroom setting, along in our home libraries. But it would also be a good piece to use in our schools. It would fit right into the 3rd grade curriculum and the 5th grade curriculum, even the 6th grade curriculum. And so these things could be adapted in our classrooms where children could learn about the Dogon. What's interesting is that my first exposure to Dogon, my first conceptual framework to ever know that these men and women existed, believe it or not, was from George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelics. Mothership Connection, okay? And I remember in Washington, D.C., man, 1978, I went to a 17-hour concert in D.C. 17 hours, man. And it was George Clinton, it was Bootsy, it was the Brides of Funkenstein, even that little man got up on the stage in a diaper. You know? And the opening of George Clinton was the spaceship coming down onto the stage.
That's what's up.
It was in Robert F. Kennedy Stadium, man, in the spring or the summer of 1978, man. My second exposure to the Dogon came in the 70s with a book that was put together by Ivan Van Sertima. It's called Blacks in Science. I think it was the 80s. Okay. There's an essay in there by Hunter Haviland Adams that talked about these Dogon people. And I had been doing work on the Shabaka stone. And as I read the Dogon, the Shabaka stone being the version of the Kemetic or the Egyptian origin of the universe. However, as I was reading the Dogon philosophy, as I was reading work on the Dogon, because then I went out and got The Pale Fox, and I got Conversations with Olga Tameli. So these are the 4 structured books that I used to get research on the Dogon.
Gotcha.
And so I began to see the correlation between the Dogon and the Kemites, the Dogon and the Egyptians. Then I began to look at the work of Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop, who talks about the movement of peoples that are going from the Nile Valley into West Africa. So I'm beginning to realize, wait a minute, there's a connection here. And what the Dogon did is they actually took the Kemetic legacy of the cosmic reality and brought it to the next level. They refined it. They tuned it so that what was a metaphor on one level got deeply science in another. And so when you're looking at the Dogon, one of the things about the Dogon, everybody wants to talk about, well, how did they see this star?
Right.
The Sirius system, Sirius A, Sirius B.
Right.
Sirius B is an invisible star. Dogon call it Kizi Uzi, the littlest of things, or Bo Tolo, which is, Tolo means star, Bo is a seed that's grown. It's the smallest seed grain that the Dogon grow. So they liken Bo, or that grain, to the star, the littlest star.
Okay.
Bo Tolo, or Kizi Uzi, is an invisible star that rotates around Sirius A, the brightest star in the heavens, particularly in the December and the winter months of the northern skies. What you're looking at in terms of the Dogon is that they understood something astronomical that very few people, it wasn't until the middle of the 1800s that Europe even realized that there was something. They didn't know it. They didn't see it until 1971 from a laboratory telescope. And so, like what most people do when they come upon an African community that they perceive to be not as advanced,
Right.
they start wondering, well, how could they have seen this
Right.
if they didn't have a telescope? But there's something that when you look at science and the potential of the human being is that there's something known as a night eye.
Mm.
And the reason why I know that is because I'm a night eye.
Mm-hmm.
I operate at night. I see better in the dark than I see in the light.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
My father was a night eye. My grandfather worked on the railroads of the South at night. So I come from a long tradition of male night eyes. I didn't realize I was a night eye really until I retired from the Board of Ed, when I could arrange my own schedule.
Gotcha.
The night eye is such that when you look at the human eye, when you're in the light, your iris, the middle of your eye, reduces itself to 1/4 the size of your eye. That's what allows light to come in.
Mm.
It's like when you shut the lights out and then you put them on, you have to close your eyes.
Right. Squint.
You have to squint because your eye has to reduce itself down to the 1/4 size. Because it literally grows in the dark to full. It's your whole eye. So literally, what the Dogon did, there were families that only existed at night. The astronomers only existed at night.
Right.
They never saw the light. They lived up in the cliffs. They would go inside the cliffs or the caves, and there was no light.
Right.
At nighttime, when they came out, their eye had opened up.
Wow.
So their eye was the telescope.
Mm.
See, the telescope is based on the human eye.
Right.
That's what makes the telescope so powerful.
Right.
However, Western civilization depends on telescopes and machines so much, they don't see the human potential.
Mm.
Whereas the Dogon people, even the Kemetic scholars, the astronomers, didn't need telescope.
Right.
Their eyes were the telescope.
Mm.
That's not to say that they didn't have telescopes,
Right.
but their eye was a telescope. And so that's how they could see this little star that rotated around this larger star because it wobbled. And they said something's going to be making that star wobble.
Right.
And so it's the gravitational attraction. And so the Dogon basically believed that just as our planet revolves around the sun, our solar system revolves around Potolo.
Mm.
That's our seed for our, if you want to call it a galaxy,
Right.
or if you want to call it a cluster, whatever it is, that is what everything rotates around. Potolo rotates around something larger. That larger piece rotates around something. And so what's happening is that there's a dance. There's
Right.
a cosmic dance
Right.
that's going on. And every 60 years, the Dogon had a ceremony called the Sigui ceremony.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about.
Every 60 years. However, the rotation is every 50 years. But they have a celebration where they will create a Kanaga mask. One mask. That Kanaga mask is used in the celebration every 60 years. When Marcel Griol and Dieter Lean, who were the two anthropologists and scientists that lived with the Dogon, went in and talked to them and began to realize the Dogon brought them into a room. And they put a mask on the chair. Because for every Kanaga mask that was created,
Right.
they had a chair.
And that's every 60 years now, because I know where you're going
Every
with
60 years. That's right. Every 60 years. In that room, there was 12 chairs with 12 masks. Now, you multiply 60 times 12, and it comes up to 700, I think 20, give or take. Which takes you back to the Malinki Empire. I mean, if we work the math real quick, 12 times 60, okay, 20, okay? And so that means that that room put the first mask in 720 years before that date. Which takes this ceremony back to the Malinki Empire. That's powerful, isn't it?
Very powerful. And see, that's why.
That's real powerful. But we ain't finished yet. Dogon told him we have 2 more rooms with 12 chairs.
So now you got 720 years.
Times 3.
Times 3.
Okay.
And they got 2 more rooms with 12 masks.
Well, that becomes important to understand certain things about who Dogon were and how long they had this information.
So now, in terms of who they were and how long they had the information, based off of mathematics, we're talking about 2,160
years
that they have been tracking this ceremony.
that they have been tracking this ceremony, and now you have to figure out how did they know the cycle in order to study it for so long.
Right.
So now you're going back thousands of years, which is telling you is that there were civilizations in West Africa at the same time that our ancestors, the Kemites, were building pyramids in Egypt.
Yeah. So,
See, we don't know our history.
right.
And because we have bought the bill of goods that people tell us about our inferiority and insecurity and the things that we don't know and what we cannot do and our primitiveness, and people, leaders of the world are calling our countries S-holes and all the rest of that.
Right.
We don't understand how really great we are, and our children are suffering from it. So this is why starseeds become so important.
Absolutely.
Because it exposes the children to another view of who they are as a people and what their potential is. You see? And in so doing, it develops an understanding of your potential
Right.
and what you can do. And these were the Dogon. But let's not get lost, because cousins to the Dogon, you have the Bambara, you have the Miankara, okay? You have the Boso. And all of them had the same type of philosophy.
Wow.
The reason why we get caught up in the Dogon the way we do is because peoples of European descent went to live with the Dogon. Had they lived with the Bozo, they would have told the story about the Bozo.
Got you.
If they had told the story, if they lived with the Miankara, they would have been telling the story about the Miankara. The reason why the Dogons stand out so much is because there were people in Western civilization that lived with them and studied them. Blessings on them. Thank you for doing that.
Right.
But as an African, I know there's more to me than just that.
Absolutely.
But now I can take you to Nigeria, and I can show you equally powerful cosmological stories. I then can take you to the granddaddy of all the cosmological stories, into the Congo, with Dr. Fukia, that talks about the Congolese cosmology. That's where all the cosmologies came from.
Right.
So that it becomes important for us as a people, as we're developing our history and we're telling these stories. The Dogon we can focus on because there is accurate writings on the Dogon that allow us to go back scientifically to make this understanding.
Right.
But we are not to get lost in just the Dogon. We have to understand, just like Dr. Clark used to always teach us, all of Africa was great.
Absolutely.
Don't take just what they do and highlight who they hold great.
Right.
Understand, all of them were doing this. And you can see the Bambara. Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop, Civilizational Barbarism, talks about the cosmology of the Bambara. He outlines this. So that, and there is a cultural unity in Africa. Just like I told you, the Dogon and the Shabaka stone had a similar story. The same is true when you go to Nigeria. The same is true when you go to South Africa. There is something known as the Adams calendar. That is what Africans did, and they developed that in Zimbabwe and in Southern Africa. And that goes back thousands of years.
Wow.
Contemporary with the pyramid builders.
Right.
In fact, it goes beyond the pyramid builders. So that as we begin this story and we understand who we are as a people, we have to understand how great we are.
Right.
And we have to give this message to our children.
Absolutely. And one other thing too about the Dogon that I remember from the presentation, there were 4 principles that I believe they spoke on. I can't remember verbatim, I'm sure you probably do. It was the vision from the front, the vision from the side, the vision from the back, and I believe it was a vision from up top or from within?
Within.
So what were the Boloso?
Jiddiso was the first.
Okay, Jiddiso.
Jiddiso was the front word.
Okay.
Then, and that's the point, that's what you're looking at. That is the superficial word. That is the word on the front.
Okay.
That's what you see. But now all of a sudden, you grow. And from Jiddiso, you go to Beniso. Beniso is the peripheral vision, the 180 degrees. Then you go to Boloso, which now comes back around, is the word that you cannot see, but because you see the side word, you can interpret the back word. Boloso. And then it goes deep inside and comes within you, and you have Sodai. And Sodai is the clear word. It's the inside word. It's the elder's word. In Kemet, you had the same concept, but you only had 3 stages, where the Dogon had 4.
Gotcha.
In Kemet, you had the initiate, you then had the apprentice, and then you had the son of light. Now, in the Congolese cosmology, you have the 7 points of light. which is all forms of knowledge and wisdom that's coming to you at one time. You have the word front, back, left side, right side, up, down, and in. The 7 points of light, which represents what we call the prana aura, which is on the outside, and the chakra systems, which are on the inside.
Right.
And just like you vibrate your chakras on the inside, you also vibrate your prana auras on the outside. And they are your protective forces that protect you, your prana aura. And this is why you have to have a pure heart. You have to vibrate at a certain level. And the internal chakra system also controls what happens on the prana aura on the outside. So that you know when people are selling you wolf tickets, or if they make you feel insecure or inferior, you have a golden glow around you that protects you. It is an aura that protects you from any harm coming in.
Wow.
But the moment you get negative, this is why we have to be careful. You have to be careful what you throw out.
Right.
You have to be careful even if you wish someone who has not done you right misfortune. You have to be careful, because the cosmos will make that bounce off them and come back on you.
Karma.
Okay, it will come back on you. So therefore, let the ancestors and the creator deal with them.
Absolutely.
You just do your thing.
Right.
And don't wish other people bad, because even if they deserve it, you initiating a negative vibration, you are weakening your aura. And it's very porous. It can open up. And there are forces of negativity that are surrounding you because they want to get inside. They don't want you to be able to do your thing. So when it becomes porous and it opens up, all of a sudden those negative forces can come in. And the more you let them in, the wider they make the pores. And pretty soon you start opening up, and then all of the negativity is going to be coming at you at one time.
I love that. And what happened is I went through a lot of tough times like we all do in life. I changed my mindset to a positive mindset. And I talk about how important that is in the book, because when you vibrate and operate with a positive mindset, you use the law of attraction. And you attract positive things into your life and people into your life. And I feel like had I not transformed my life from thinking negative to shifting to positivity, I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now. So I can resonate with that on so many different levels when you talk about how important and powerful it is to be positive and use that positive energy. Because I talk about this in Starseed as well. Melanin. But I studied several different books that I've learned from you, from Dr. Richard King, the book Melanin. He talks about melanin quite a bit in that book as well. How important is melanin to us, who we are, what we do, and what we're capable of?
Melanin is a molecule. Dr. Sigui, who I spent a great deal of time, I've been going to Dr. Sigui since 1988. Dr. Sigui always said, y'all are getting caught up in melanin, but you got to get caught up in carbon. Melanin has its importance, but what made melanin black is carbon. Carbon is an atom. It is number 6 on the periodic table of elements. It has 6 neutrons, 6 protons, and 6 electrons. So when people are trying to keep us away from thinking that the 666 is a demonic number, it's because they know if you knew what 666 was. So they keep you away from knowing who you are. Carbon, there are 4 different atoms that are very important. There's basically others also, but the 4 major ones is nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. John G. Jackson talks about this in his books. You can only, when it comes to nitrogen, hydrogen, and oxygen, you can only combine no more than 3 atoms together. You can take 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, H2O, that's water. 2 parts hydrogen, 2 parts oxygen, you have hydrogen, hydrogen peroxide, okay? When you introduce carbon, carbon is what makes the billions of molecules that exist. It's the cosmic glue. Out of the carbon atom, you then have something known as melanosomes. Melanosomes are granules that do work. Melanosomes are contained within melanocytes, which is the cell of melanin. Okay? Carbon atom, melanosome granule, melanocyte cell. Melanin is the mothership connection. That's what makes everything come together. So even if there was life in outer space, it would have to be black.
Mm.
Because the only reason why we are depigmented on the earth with the Eurasians is because melanated people was impacted by the Ice Age.
Mm.
They are not of the cosmos.
Mm.
We are star people.
Star seeds.
Star seeds. That's right. That's why I said the name of the book has its place in terms of how it plays out on all of this thing. This is the seed that grew, just the potolo, the littlest seed.
Right.
Okay? And so melanin as a molecule, we find it in various parts of our body. We have skin melanin, but your skin is an organ. When you go inside your body, skin melanin is part of the process that's known as eumelanin, E-U-M-E-L-A-N-I-N. Melanin in the internal part of your body, without it in your heart it wouldn't beat, without it in your blood system it wouldn't circulate, without it in your respiratory you couldn't hear.
Wow.
And then you have neuromelanin, which is melanin in the brain, which is in the darkness of the brain. When a human, well, I'll use humans, but animals too, when they're first born, it's known as a blastula. There are 3 parts of the blast. When daddy's sperm enters into mother's egg and fertilizes the egg, the blastula has 3 parts to it. It has an ectoderm, the outside layer. It has a mesoderm, the middle layer, and an endoderm, which is in the internal layer. In the ectoderm on the outside, within a couple of hours, it turns in on the cell. That is where the brain comes from. That is where the spinal cord comes from. And along the spinal cord, all of the different organs and glands are then developed in deep black melanin.
So all this takes place inside the womb.
All inside the womb within the first 27 hours of conception.
Melanin is a powerful tool.
It is the mothership connection.
Wow.
There's melanin in water. There's melanin in the earth. Everything that has come together that we are aware of in the cosmos, melanin is dark matter. Melanin is dark energy. And the relationship between matter and energy, matter is only the codification of energy. There's more energy than there is matter.
Right.
And what happens is that when all of this comes together, it literally brings together and creates all the things that exist within the cosmos. But on our planet, plants were born to be green. This is what Richard King said at the presentation back in the 80s. When I was first exposed to him, 1981, he came to New York. First World Alliance did a presentation. I had never heard the word melanin before. I was a kindergarten teacher.
Wow.
Never heard the word melanin before. He noticed that there were other brothers and sisters in the audience that didn't understand it either. He said, "Okay, brother and sister, okay. I'm going to tell it to you like this.
Right.
If you can understand plant photosynthesis, you can understand human photosynthesis.
Right.
Because chlorophyll is to the plant as melanin is to the human. The chloroplast, which is the chlorophyllin cell, is to the plant as the melanocyte is to melanin. And that opened up the doors for me to understand.
That's the...
Because I taught photosynthesis to my kindergarten children.
Right.
Get little milk cans, get a little dirt, put seed in there, grow it up for a couple of days. That was part of science.
Right.
So I understood that.
Yeah, that's deep.
And once I was able to make that comparison, then I understood. And I went out and I got a Xerox copy. I went to the back of the auditorium and I bought Black Dot 1, Black Dot 2, which was 2 Xerox copies, which would later become 2 of the chapters in the African Origins of Biological Psychiatry. But this was before that book was out.
Right.
So I went and bought that, I put it away. And then I went and I began a series on photosynthesis with my kindergarten children.
Wow.
The whole time making the analogy to learn about the stomata and the xylem and the phlegm and all the different, the leaf and all the rest, because I was going to make a crossover into melanin, because he said if you understand plant photosynthesis, you can understand human photosynthesis, but I have to first master what I knew before I could go to where I didn't quite know.
I got you.
And so I began to understand what exactly was going on in terms of what melanin was. And as you begin the development of this study, and you begin to develop exactly who we are, you begin to understand that is why we are microcosmos. It becomes important for us to understand that when you look at the cosmos,
Right.
we are the mediator of the cosmic reality. We have billions of atoms in our body, billions and billions of atoms. An atom is to the human as the human is to the universe.
Wow. That's crazy.
The billions of cells that have atoms that make us who we are, we are like microcosms of the macrocosm, but we are the macrocosm of the quantum world. That's melanin. It's in every part of your body. If you didn't have it, you would be blind in your eye. And it becomes important that we find it in everything that we do. That is why Dr. Sigui, Sister Ma'a, his wife now, who now I go to, tell you that you must bring into your system carbon-based foods.
What are some carbon-based foods, for those who don't know, that you would recommend to enhance melanin?
Well, of course, the biominerals.
Okay.
Okay, a mineral diet for one thing. Okay, but also green things. You see, Dr. Sigui would tell you, you're not hungry for food.
Right.
Your cells are craving oxygen. That's what makes you feel hungry. So that's why when you go out and you buy food that's not healthy for you, you could be hungry in an hour.
Right.
Because actually what you did by eating that poison, you actually suffocated more cells and now you're more hungry.
Wow.
That's why you drink water
Yep.
before you eat, about a half hour before. Because when you drink water before you eat, you are drinking oxygen, H2O. That's why you always have a salad with your meal, green, because plants give off oxygen.
Right.
So it becomes important that we understand the balance of our diets. Another thing is, only eat 85% of your hunger. Always walk away from the table when you're still 15% hungry.
Gotcha.
Don't eat until itis sets in.
Right.
Where people be looking at you, you falling asleep.
Right.
Okay, you should always be able to get up and walk away.
Gotcha.
That's when you eat 85%. But be careful what you put on your plate.
I love it. I know we spoke about earlier, pyramids. Khufu, Khafre, Menkaure, the pyramids, Alatak, Alalam, Mentaka, Orion's Belt, and the Sirius connection. What can we learn about the pyramids?
Well, the pyramids work. Well, first, one thing we have to know about Giza, which is what we call that city. It was a walled-in city,
Okay.
and there were close to 80 pyramids. That's like if you went to New York. Let's say that in the distant future there was a catastrophe that knocked down every building in New York City, in Manhattan,
Right.
except for the Empire State Building. It's like if future generations went to New York City and saw the Empire State Building and thought that's the only thing that was there.
Right.
Giza was a pyramid city. And the pyramids that were built in this reflected the stars that was in the constellation of Orion. The three stars the three pyramids that we see, Khufu, Khafre, Menkaure, those relate back to Orion's belt.
Right.
But the thing about the Orion's belt, in December, in the northeastern sky, when you look up into the heavens, you look and you see those three stars. But if you go down left and look down, that's Sirius. So when we're celebrating this idea of Christmas,
Right.
the holiest day really is not December 25th.
Right.
That's a calendrical system. The most important day astronomically is December 6th, which is known as Dia de Reyes, which is in Spanish meaning the Day of the Three Kings. But the three kings are the three stars who are visiting the Christ child, who is Sirius, who is risen from the dead up from the sky and is risen up. And guess what the constellation that he rises up into is called? It's called the manger. You see, this information is here, brother. It's here for us. But we have to study and we have to know.
Right.
I respect all faith systems and I respect all religions.
Right.
Don't throw away the Bible or the Torah or the Quran or any other holy book.
Right.
I don't have a problem with the holy books. My problem is in the Western perspective of the interpretation of the books. Because I can show you Genesis on the walls of Egypt. I can take you to the pyramid text, utterance 279 and 280, where it talks about Unas, who was the Pharaoh, transforming into a bull, and eating of the gods, and drinking of the blood of the gods. But in this story, it wasn't literal eating of the gods, or drinking the blood of the gods. It was when you ingest divinity, you become divinity. You ever heard it say, you are what you eat?
Right.
That's where it came from. So I can show you the Eucharist. I can show you the idea of all of the different ceremony that the priest in the Roman Catholic Church does up on the altar. That altar, that's a sarcophagus. When you go into the Egypt system, that's a sarcophagus. That's a sarcophagus for a Saw who has died, but it is the cradle for Heru who has risen.
Right.
So it is both a coffin and a cradle. Now, when you look at the Giza Plateau and you look at, that was a walled-in city,
Right.
with far more than the pyramids that we see today. And the three pyramids that we see, Khufu, Khafre, Menkaure, what's interesting is that they were not built to outdo each other. They talk about how the Khafre tried to outdo his father, but there's a reason why Khufu's is the largest. And the reason why it's the largest was because these were very important as it relates to astronomical information.
Right.
And it also dealt with the fact that many people believe that the pyramids were nuclear power plants. There's a book called the Giza Power Plant that talks about the pyramids are as deep as they are tall. They're 481.4 feet tall, but they go over 300 feet underground. And the way it's structured, it looks like it's something that looks like a power plant, the way it's structured. The entrance to all the pyramids are on the north side. They all face the northern cardinal point. And if you were to draw, if you were to create a light that went through all of the entrances, they all would point to the North Star, which developed the concept of understanding the wobbling of the Earth and the 23 1/3 degree angle of the Earth. So that's what created the great year of 26,000 years. Because they followed the Orion star all the way around. But at the same time, those three stars of the Orion belt, if you look down, like I always see in December, if you look down you look southeast into the heavens, and what you'll notice is that the three stars of Orion's belt is there, but they all come down, and if you look down to the left hand of that, you'll see the brightest star, which is Sirius. Right. That star, by January 6th, had risen up off the horizon, so it appeared that it was born again. And so this is why the three kings visiting the Christ child in the constellation known as the manger. And so that is where the astronomical story comes from as it relates to the religious story.
Right.
So it becomes important, yes, respect the religions. I respect the religions. I have a problem with the interpretation of them.
Right. Because if I'm not mistaken, from the Christianity's perspective, they're speaking on Jesus, Joseph, and Mary, correct? Whereas that originated in Kemet with Asar, Aset, and Heru.
Yes.
So it's pretty much the same story, just translated and diluted from the pyramid text and from the walls of the pyramids into the Bible of Christianity.
Exactly. And actually, if you want to go back and look, see what society has done, what Western civilization did is they took historical characters of Africa and they superimposed a religious lore or story over historical figures. Moses is Akhenaten.
And that's King Tut's father, correct?
That's King Tut's father. Some people say brother, not going to get twisted, but basically, yes. Moses is the child. Akhenaten's name was Amenhotep IV.
Right.
Amenhotep IV, his parents was Amenhotep III and Queen Tai. Historically speaking, Amenhotep III and Queen Tai is Solomon and Sheba. Now, Akhenaten's son, Tutankhaten, who became Tutankhamun, that is the historical person that Jesus the Christ is based on.
King Tut.
That is why Jesus came through the line of Solomon and David and all the others, because they were all part of the same historical family of the 18th dynasty that ruled from 1570 to 1320 BC. Again, I want to be very clear, because I do know and I realize that there are many people that are very much attached to the church.
Right, right.
And I respect your religion. But not at the expense of African genius.
Right.
I'm not willing. I'm willing to respect. But at the same time, the historical facts have to be respected.
Absolutely.
And so we have to be able to express our truth with respect and to understand what it is that we're talking about, because if our people understood the purity and the beauty of spirituality, they wouldn't attach themselves to religions.
Absolutely.
Because if people say to me, "You Christian?" I say, "Yeah, I'm Christian. I'm Jewish too. I'm Muslim. I'm a Buddhist, and I'm also Confucius."
Right.
You know why? Because I'm an African.
Right.
And when you're an African, you all of that.
Right.
Buddha is nothing but a corruption of the word Ptah. That's where Buddhism came from.
I love it. And so in terms of stars and the star seeds and the parallels between the pyramids and the Dogon, how important is it for our children to know this type of history in terms of them wanting to live their lives as kings and queens and gods and goddesses, or better yet, heroes? Because in the book, the children use their minds to use as superpowers for them to make a positive shift on the planet Earth, to shift it from a negative environment to a positive environment. So when we talk about the mind and the mind's eye and the third eye, how important is us to teach our children our history so they can actually use that powerful mind as a superpower?
I encourage us, while we celebrate the classical African world, the Dogon, Egypt, Ghana, Mali, Songhai, or Ouagadougou, you don't have to go back that far for classical African civilization. Our brothers and sisters, our ancestors, was a classical African civilization. The civil and human rights movement of the 60s and the 70s was a classical African civilization. Hip-hop is a classical African civilization. Sometimes we try to go back so far to grasp our greatness. And it's right in front of us right now. We are classical Africans living this civilization. And what we are doing is so profound, and our children have to understand this, because even when you go back in history and you worship or you honor everybody in the past, which you should do, don't lose sight that that DNA is in you. You are the ascendants of that greatness. And so our children need to understand the greatness back then in order to understand the greatness of right now. And this is the work that we're doing with our children, to help them and to assist them in understanding. You have the potential to do anything that you want. You can grow into anything you want to be because you are a star seed. You are one of the ancient ones. You just happen to be the ancient one today. Just like one day you will have your ascendants look back on you, and you will be an ancestor. And our children have to understand what that means in terms of history. We've been dislocated from that. There are people who wish to abuse us, and to do that, they wish to oppress us. So they took our history, they took our language, they took our values, interests, and principles, superimposed their history, their language, their values, interests, and principles on us. So that whatever decision that we come to as it relates to the world that we're living in is never going to be in our best interest, because our deciding factors are not in our best interest. They're in someone else's best interest. So we have to get, as Dr. Theophilio Benga tells us, is a sense of a cultural common sense to return back to where we were in order to go where we need to go. It's like a slingshot. It's like a slingshot that you put a projectile in and you pull it back. This is what star seeds is. The idea of propelling that in the front the further back you go,
Right. The more
the
force.
further forward you'll go. The same thing is with the mind. Your mind is put in this slingshot, which is life. And the further back you go into your past, the further in the future you can project yourself. So it's important for us to know the past, but only so we can do something in the present.
To prepare for the future.
Exactly. The future. Everything we do for the future.
Right.
In the present, understanding the past. See, prophets are not psychics. They're just good historians. Because when you know what happened in the past, you can interpret the present. When you can interpret the present, you can predict the future.
Wow.
And people look at you when things turn out the way you said, they say, how did you know?
Right.
There wasn't nothing psychic. I just know history.
What is the mathematic correlation to the eye of Heru? Based off of the eye of Heru, the symbol, how is it broken down mathematically?
Well, the idea is, and again, the eye of Heru was described as the fraction. Because when you look at the eye of Heru, it's the battle between Set and Heru, the uncle and the son. And he plucks Heru's eye out, falls on the ground, and it shatters. It's a fraction. One part of it equals 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, 1/16, 1/32, and 1/64. And the riddle that Tehuti, the patron of wisdom, gives to Heru is, if you can join all to become one, then I'll not only give you your sight back, but I'll give you insight. And you'd have to see it, because there's something that falls underneath the eye, which is equal to 1/64. And Tehuti says the answer is in front of you all the time.
Wow.
And when you add up all the fractions, it comes to 1/63. And so what is it that you add in order to make one? It's 1/64. But the value of 1/64 is the number one that's sitting right in front of you. That's what Tehuti meant when he said the answer isn't right in front of you. And that's what I tell the audience all the time.
Right.
The answer is in front of you. You don't have to go outside to find anything. Everything you need to know is within you. The person that needs a Messiah. Well, you don't realize that Jesus saves those who save themselves. The only person that can save you is you.
Right.
Nobody can save you. Only you can save you.
Right.
And I know many people talk about leading the horse to water. Oh man, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink. That's true. But before you even set out on taking him to the water, you need to make the horse realize that the horse is thirsty.
Right.
Our people don't realize that they're thirsty.
Right.
They know something wrong, but they don't know that they're thirsty.
Right.
Because if you let them realize that they're thirsty, they're going to tell you, hey man, hop on my back, we're going to get some water. You wouldn't have to lead them to the water, they'd take you to the water.
Right. Wow.
And so that's what this information is for our children. Let our children understand, this is what can happen, this is what this will do for you.
Right.
What is it? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What are your passions?
Right.
What do you want in life? Why do you think you're here? You know, that's why I used to always ask you, why are you here? Why do you think you're here? What's your purpose?
Right.
You've been given a purpose. And it doesn't make a difference if someone else does the same thing you do, like two rappers.
Right.
You ain't gonna rap the same.
Never.
Okay? You do you, let them do you, and don't be jealous, don't be envious. If you make shoes, someone else makes shoe, no one gonna make shoe like you make shoe.
Right. Right.
If you work on the computer, someone else you're not gonna do it the same.
Right.
What's your divine gift? What have you been given? What's your twist? What's your flavor? And out of that, you become who you were born to be. But you can't do that if you don't know who you are. And our children are in a world where the person that they say that they are is not who they are. And then the people they put in front of the children to make the children think that's who they are is not who they are.
Right.
And so Starseed allows children to see a world where they can go in and see themselves in control. They can see themselves doing those things where they are reckoning their own destiny.
Right.
And that is why the book needs to be in our schools. That is why that type of book, Starseed, needs to be so that our children can understand who they are, what their potential is, and the question becomes, what you gonna do?
I think that's a perfect way to wrap it up, because that's exactly what the book was based off of. That's what the whole idea, the whole concept, the whole vision for the book was, to not only show our children our rich, vast history, our rich, vast wealth of knowledge and wisdom and information that we already have shown historically. We've talked about thousands of years of historical evidence that you have already clearly defined that we have. And for our children to be able to see this and to read this and to experience this, I think the ultimate goal is to open up that eye of Heru, that hero within each child,
Absolutely.
who takes the opportunity to read the books.
And here it is, fam. Starseed.
The children of the ancients.
Put it in your home. Make sure that your children's school has it. Get class copies of them. Our children are going to learn how to read. Let them learn how to read Starseed.
All right, tribe. That's it right there, man. So that was the interview that I've been talking about, sharing with y'all for a minute now, man. So I had to go ahead and get that thing edited up today to go ahead and to follow up, like I said, what we was talking about last night. Because for those who didn't see that interview last night with Baba Kepa, man, that thing was lit. It was dope. We talked about a lot of Kemetic E5, you know what I mean? A lot of Kemetic E5 traditions, spirituality. But we went deep into the cosmic, cosmos as well, in regards to just the sheer spiritual aspects of all the things that are connected to this landscape portal, opening. I remember last year was a powerful one too, as a matter of fact, man. Shout out to Milagros Wellness and Baba Astarius Miraculi, because we had an in-person event last year that was dope, and he came through playing the didgeridoo, and it was powerful because I had never experienced that type of I've experienced sound healing before, like sound bowls, crystal bowls, things of that nature. But the didgeridoo was something I never experienced that, especially in person. And the only thing I can remember about that instrument was that for the people over, I say the 80s babies and older, is the y'all remember that commercial Ricola? Like, I remember the people in that commercial that was playing the didgeridoo with the Ricola commercial. But that's a powerful instrument in regards to healing, because I remember when he was playing it was dope. So, but this year's Lionsgate ain't playing either, man. Like, the energy's been profound. A lot of profound downloads, a lot of profound energy, a lot of profound experiences, expansions, elevations, crystallizations, manifestations, et cetera, man. It's definitely been going down. And Lady Nightwalker, I'm gonna definitely share the link. I do have Starseeds available in the ebook as of right now. I gotta get some more copies in print, because I don't know if I have any more left in print, but I gotta order some more in print. And Audible, audiobook, that's something that I think I need to do. So I appreciate you for giving me that insight, because it was something that I wanted to do when I first published the book, but I just never made it happen. So I think that's something that I definitely work on as well. So I definitely appreciate you for sharing that, and I'll definitely be sharing the links to the Starseeds book as well on the channel and in the communities as well, for those who do want to grab a copy of the ebook. And like I said, I'll definitely be getting it in print in the near future as well. But there's a lot more coming, family. We got a live coming tomorrow. I think we're going 7:30. I just was actually putting that up while we was watching the watch party. And then I think next week I believe we got a few more lined up for next week as well. And then I'm still working on several more videos that I got to get uploaded for y'all that I did, during the time that I kind of unplugged for a little bit. I still was recording. I still was doing some content. So I definitely need to get that on the channel as well for y'all. But I definitely want to keep the momentum rolling, because like I said, we had a powerful show last night. Shout out to Baba Kepa. And then we were supposed to run it back with another Lionsgate show live stream, but we had to reschedule that one because of schedule conflicts and technical difficulties. But we're going to work on making that one happen on Monday. And then I'll be back tomorrow. Creator willing at 7:30 p.m., man, to make this thing do what it do again. So with that, water is stronger than diamonds. Yeah, that's a strong argument, man. I ain't gonna bet against water. I can tell you that. I know diamonds is powerful too, but yeah, I'm not betting against water. When you're talking about Olokun You're talking about the waters of Nun. You're talking about Emoja. Yeah, I ain't running up on water. That's a very powerful element, especially on this planet. I can't really think of too many more. But with that, family, I definitely appreciate everybody who came out on this last minute live stream, man. But like I said last night, I wanted to make sure that I hit y'all with this triple header this weekend because I had to unplug over the last couple weeks. But I want to make sure that we get back in the seat and make it do what it do with the tribe, man. So I definitely look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow at 7:30. And then we got some more coming next week. I think we're starting with Monday. We're supposed to start Monday with Unam with the I think probably the last of the Lionsgate series for this weekend. And then from there, yeah, we got several more coming. So I definitely be in touch with y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Tribe. I'm gonna go ahead and sign out so I can get back in this thing tomorrow night. And thank you all for coming out, man. Last minute, but y'all showed up and showed love as always. So I definitely appreciate y'all. Appreciate the love and support. And we'll see y'all tomorrow night, family. We out. Peace. Odabo.
ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé ṣàpò ìyàgbọ́ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo ṣe ní gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́ forsake not your ancestors and praise your.